Hello there everybody, hope you're doing well today. For this video, I created two players that are essentially identical other than a few minor differences. Other than the base stats, which are the same, the sniper got a full shooting category buff up to 95 and was given a shot pass bias totally in favor of shot. Our other player, the playmaker, was given a buff in the puck skills category and was given a complete bias towards passing. Obviously, I also tried to give some X factors and abilities that weighed into those as well. So thank you for the suggestion. I'm interested to see how a full-out playmaker is going to compare to a full-out sniper. Let's get this simulation started here on NHL 23 and find out what does happen. Maker and Sniper are both supposed to go over Connor Bedard in the upcoming NHL entry draft. The lottery winner, the Seattle Kraken, they went from 3-1, Chicago went from 1-2, and then Detroit moved down to 3rd. With the first overall selection, the Kraken take Sniper, Chicago would go on to take Playmaker, and Bedard would be a Detroit Red Wing in this one. But we're not really focused on him, we're focused on these two. So Playmaker's up to an 86 overall, Sniper was at an 84. Both players will be starting in the NHL, which just makes sense because they are mid to high 80s. Entry-level contracts are signed 3 years at $910K for Playmaker. Sniper will be on the second line playing with McCann and Eberle. He gets a $950K contract for his entry-level deal. Chicago finishes last in the Central Division. Not a hot start for them, but it is what it is. The Kraken go on to make the playoffs. Only 86 points on the season, though, so they got pretty lucky, gotta say. Playmaker puts up 51 points this season. He'd be second on the team, whereas Sniper coming in hot at 70 and 38 goals to lead the Seattle Kraken. Unfortunately, didn't really have much playoff success, but he would take the Calder home. Not really a surprise there either, considering he did get 70 points. They were waxed by the Oilers in round 1, taking 5 games. Aho and Sprong, the new line mates for Playmaker. The Jones brothers are united up there on the top pair. Cool to see. Jari is the starting goalie, backed up by Craig Anderson, 43 years young. What a legend. Sniper playing with Shane Wright and Eli Tolvanen. Dunn and Larson as the top defensive pair for the Kraken, and Varlamov will be the starting goalie at 82 overall. Continued lack of success from Chicago as they finish last in the Central Division. 25 wins on the season. We see 45 from Seattle, who take the Pacific. What a season from them. 66 points from Playmaker, who was a -46, a complete rough go. Plus 13 from Sniper, who put up 80 points and just shy of 50 tucks. I'd say that's pretty good, considering he's 21. He was also point a game in the playoffs. He was a -2, though, and they got rinsed by the LA Kings in round 2, taking 6 games. They split up Aho and Playmaker. I don't know why the computers do these things, but they do. So the AI jabroni of that team decides, hey, let's maybe move Sebastian to the second line. Yeah, great idea. I mean, to be fair, they did finish second last in the Central, so got them somewhere maybe. Kraken back in the playoff picture, and Playmaker would kind of go off. 71 points, a -12, still not great. Whereas we see 55 goals and 93 points from Sniper, just shy of point a game in the playoffs, 10 games and 9 points, and the Selke would go to Playmaker, whereas the Rocket Richard goes to Sniper. Once again, losing in 6 games to the Kings in round number 2. Chicago's kind of cooking now. The abilities on that first line simply outrageous. A 7-year deal is signed at $11.7 million AAV. The defense looking fairly solid. In net, they still got Jari to be the starter. Sniper will be playing with Wright and Tolvanen for, I think, the 3rd straight year now. He signs a 6-year deal worth $10.5 AAV. Dunn has Ekblad on the first pair, looking very good. Leonard, the starting goalie. Chicago puts up 23 wins this year. Disgusting. I don't know what they're doing over there, but they should stop. I mean, it doesn't help that Playmaker only played 67 games, but he also only had 38 points in those 67 games, so that is not good. We do see 61 goals from Sniper, however. The Toronto Maple Leafs are your Stanley Cup champions. Another Selke for Playmaker, and another Rocket Richard for Sniper. 2nd in a row. Going hard in the yard. Aho and Hedin, the line mates of Playmaker this year. Chicago's looking pretty good there now, but they still reek. 73 points, 31 wins, would be 7th in the Central. whereas the Kraken get 86 points and somehow finish third in the Pacific. That division is not good right now. Playmaker had 58 points, whereas Sniper had 106. He was a plus 12. 66 goals, only 5 playoff games with 1 point. Not really a great playoff performer at the moment. Selke goes to Playmaker yet again, and the Rocket Richard goes to Sniper yet again. 5 games to the Vancouver Canucks in round 1. An absolute rinse fest. Our Playmaker will be playing alongside Parr and Sebastian once again. Heponiemi and Kaliev, the line mates for Sniper this time. Chicago just missing out on a playoff spot. They had 94 points. You hate to see it. The Kraken get 97. Managed to find their way in once more. We see 51 points from Playmaker. Not doing too well. Whereas Sniper, the complete opposite, popping off. 65 goals, 101 on the year, and 13 points in 8 playoff games. Gets the Art Ross this season, the Hart. The list goes on. The Ted Lindsay, the Rocket Richard, just give him everything. How about that? They did get swept by the Avs, though, in round number 2. So that's not ideal. I don't know what happens in the NHL simulation engine. I would love to see it. I would absolutely love to see what is under the hood and what runs this whole thing. I doubt I ever will, obviously, but it'd just be very neat to see what things factor in, because to me that Chicago team looks all right. You know? They look like they have a pretty solid team. They got abilities, X factors, the chemistry's got to be there. They did get 41 wins, but they missed out on the playoffs again. The Seattle Kraken would make the playoffs again. 95 points in 44 wins. A nice amount of points from Playmaker. He was a -4, however. And 94 from Sniper with 54 tucks on the year, also a plus 27. 26 playoff games and 31 points. And you better believe he gets the Conn Smythe. What a season from our Sniper. He also gets the Selke and the Rocket Richard. What an odd combo. They beat the Carolina Hurricanes, the Jerks, if you will, 7 games in the Stanley Cup final. Look at this team. What's wrong with them? I don't know. And then you see this team, and they're going absolutely insane. Another miserable season for Chicago. 36 wins, 81 points, 7th in the Central Division, whereas Seattle finishes 3rd yet again, 98 points, 47 wins this year. What a year for the Golden Knights, too. I just realized that. The most points out of Playmaker, I believe, so far, though. Did put up 78. Got to applaud that. 102 for Sniper, and 61 goals on the season. 5 points in 4 playoff games. They got swept, but he had his guy, for sure. More than point a game. Can't really blame him. Selke, Richard, as you do, and the Vancouver Canucks would be the demise of the Seattle Kraken. Playmaker at 96 overall, playing with McKenna and Hedin on the first line. Sniper, who is 95 overall, has Kaliev and Pointer as his wingers. Chicago misses out again. 77 points. 6th in the division. The Kraken finished 2nd in the division this time, almost reaching 50 wins, 104 points. Evidently, Playmaker was injured yet again, 67 games and 47 points. He was actually in the plus this time, though. 111 points and 80 goals from Sniper. That is inhumane. 13 points in 13 playoff games. Gets the Art Ross this year, of course. The Selke. And with 80 goals, I mean, yeah, come on. Who's beaten that? Nobody. Second rounded by the Golden Knights, taking 6 games. But hey, at least they're making the playoffs, you know? Playmaker wishes. Maybe this will be the season. Also, Sniper jumps ship, goes to play for the Ottawa Senators, has Tkachuk on his line, signs a 7-year, $17 million contract. Yeah, I understand why he jumped ship. It makes sense. Honestly, though, the Senators roster here doesn't look that good, but neither did the Kraken one. Yeah, it didn't really work out the same for Ottawa. They finished last in the Atlantic Division, 86 points. Chicago finished last in the Central. For both of these guys, just very, very forgettable years. We don't talk about it. More injury trouble for Playmaker, by the way. 46 games played, 33 points. Sniper had his guy, once again, 70 goals, 117 points. Stanley Cup champions were the San Jose Sharks. And some more hardware for Sniper. At this point, I think the only option is to introduce some new trophies or to start renaming them. I don't know, I'm just spitballing some ideas here. Playmaker joins a new team. Thank you. goes on the Columbus Blue Jackets with a 7-year deal at 13.4 AAV. The defense looks fairly solid. They got Malhotra in net. Very good goaltender. Sniper once again playing with Tkachuk and Luke on the first line. Doesn't go too well once more. 38 wins on the season. Columbus not doing Playmaker any favors. They finished second last in the Metro, and he only had 54 points in 82 games. Sniper had a bit of a slower year goals-wise. Only 62. What are you doing? How about you score some more goals? He did get the Selke, though, so there's that. Zachary Benson, Playmaker, and Kent Johnson make up the first line for Columbus in year 13. Sniper will be playing with Vikingstad and Tkachuk. What's with all these cool generated names? I love it. Both squadrons would finish 6th in their respective divisions and miss out on the playoffs this season. Playmaker did quite well this time around, though. Was a +5, had 79 points, playing the full 82 games. Sniper had 59 goals and 103 points, was a +25. The Jerks go on to win the Stanley Cup this season, and another Selke for your boy, as well as a Rocket Richard. Maker gets 2 new line mates this year with Matthew Wallace and Patrick Laine. Tkachuk, Sniper, and Vikingstad still the first line for the Ottawa Senators. I mean, they're doing pretty well, so why not? 94 points for the Sens. They make the playoffs this time. The Columbus Blue Jackets, not so lucky. They finished last in the Metropolitan Division with just under 80 points. Speaking of points, we get 92 from Playmaker. Yes! Finally did something. Sniper puts up 90 points, 51 goals, and on top of that, had 16 in 12 playoff games. Another Selke. Interesting. The Sens were dusted by the Washington Capitals in round 2, taking 6 games. I guess that's not really a dusting, but anyway. Brady's brother joins Playmaker on the Columbus Blue Jackets, not on his line, but it also looks like Brady decided to dip from the Senators. They make the playoffs again this year, 93 points and 44 wins. The Jackets went off first in the Metropolitan Division with 107 points, 50 wins, and we see 94 points from Playmaker. What a turnaround at the age of 33. His first playoff run was very unsuccessful, but hey, made it to the playoffs. I'm here for it. This is just dumb. 34 points in 14 playoff games. How do you not win the Conn Smythe for that? I don't care that your team didn't make it. You probably had the most points in the playoffs. Still, with 14 games played, you're trying to tell me that shouldn't be a Conn Smythe. Get out of here. But anyway, let's carry on with year 16. Still with Columbus and the Ottawa Senators respectively, and the Sens finished second in the Atlantic, 95 points, whereas the Jackets finished second in the Metro with 97 points. Playmaker puts up 81, just shy of point a game. 60 PIMs as well, you know. 72 shots. It's kind of funny to see how little shots Playmaker actually takes, but had 20 points in 19 playoff games. So, by far, the most successful year for Playmaker because of that playoff run. And you can see here that they would make it all the way to the conference finals and lose to the Buffalo Sabres. I am once again going to point out how fascinating I find it late on in franchise mode where there's 80 overall players with like one ability. It seems to be so common. And also, again, 75 overall in the second defensive pair. What is going on? Do players just drop off in overall? It's very, very interesting to run long sims. Both teams finished first in their respective divisions. Playmaker had 76 points, 78 games, missed out on 4, maybe injury, maybe just didn't feel like playing, who knows. I'm not going to ask questions. 66 goals from Sniper, 100 flat points on the season. Another shallow playoff run for both of these individuals, even after winning their divisions. At least Columbus made it to the second round. I don't know. Just trying to find anything there. Zykov, 93 overall, getting finessed on the second line because they have Playmaker. Sniper still first line for the Ottawa Senators. Signs a new ticket, 1 year, $9.6 million. And the team would be back in the playoff picture after scoring 42 wins this season. Columbus would not be in the playoff picture. 71 points from Playmaker, not too bad. And Sniper got traded, apparently, to the Minnesota Wild. He played 22 games and went off. And in the playoffs, he played 21 games and had 33 points. Not too shabby. A Rocket Richard Another one. You better believe it. The Pity Pens made light work of the Wild in the Stanley Cup Finals, though, only taking 5 games. Both players moved teams, and yes, you did see that correct. A 78 overall on the first line. Both goalies are 78 overall. A 1-year deal at 9.2. Sniper will be on the second line of the San Jose Sharks with a 78 overall of his own. Big if true, and it is in fact true. At least they got a couple goalies there. 1-year deal at just over $9 million. The Flyers miss out on the playoffs, 38 wins and 85 points, whereas the Sharks will finish just shy of 100 points and be second in the Pacific Division. Playmaker had 71 points and was a -12 this season, whereas Sniper played 80 games and had 90 points plus 59 tucks. Their playoff run was short-lived, 7 games, another Rocket Richard for Sniper, and it would be the Calgary Flames that put the Sharks out this season. Sniper signs with the Wild after he got traded there and left, decided to come back. Apparently, didn't mind his time here. I don't blame him. $15 million, I would probably do the same thing. Playmaker is on an ability-filled Washington Capitals squad here. They also have Beck at 89 overall in net. A 1-year, $13 million contract. Washington stinks. 37 wins and 83 points. The Wild sneak into a playoff spot with 91 points. At just under a point a game, we have Playmaker, 81, and was a -4. Sniper had 81 and 81 for the Vancouver Canucks. This guy's a suitcase, just going anywhere and everywhere. And they didn't make the playoffs. 6th in the Pacific Division. The Flyers would go on to win the Stanley Cup this season. Playmaker joins the Chicago Blackhawks. Not his first time being here. Not his first rodeo. They look alright, can't lie. Signs a 1-year, $15 million deal. Holy crap. Sniper goes over to the Philadelphia Flyers. They look alright, kind of, maybe. He would sign a 2-year deal at 8.8 AAV, which is very low considering his previous contracts. But anyway, Chicago makes the playoffs with 99 points. Both teams finishing second in their divisions. 103 points from the Philadelphia Flyers. Playmaker puts up a great amount, 72, what a good number. Chicago would not have a good playoff run, however, and the Broad Street Bullies would suffer a similar fate. Only 5 playoff games for Sniper. Did win a Rocket Richard, though, had 62 goals on the year. First round exit from both the teams, and that is not how you want to go out, but it is how they go out. And I'd also love to point out that, of course, this time I started checking as soon as they turned 36, and they wouldn't retire. Whereas last time, the guy retired at 36 out of nowhere. I don't get it. I simply don't understand. I guess it's probably at least partially RNG, and I just got unlucky. But anyway, now allow me to just run some stats by you real quick here, assuming I didn't miss anything, which I probably did. Playmaker was able to get 5 Selke trophies. He played for Chicago, Columbus, Philadelphia, and Washington. Seemed to really like the Metropolitan Division. And on top of that, signed 20 years worth of contracts at a total of $216.22 million. This is going to take a hot minute, but Sniper won the Calder, 14 Richards, 4 Art Rosses. I think it's more than that. I honestly think I have that written down wrong, but maybe not. 3 Hart trophies, 3 Lindsays, a Stanley Cup, a Conn Smythe, and 5 Selkes, which is the same as Playmaker. On top of that, he played for Seattle, Ottawa, Minnesota, the Sharks, the Canucks, and the Flyers, and signed 21 years worth of contracts, although he retired at the same time as Playmaker, making $239.75 million. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you could subscribe, that would be fire, and I will see you soon.